There are three things that I produce all year round that could be beneficial to my garden and that I need to dispose of on an ongoing basis. And that's our wood ash, because we harvest all of our hardwood over here in our forest and then we burn it all winter long. The second thing are coffee grinds. I don't drink a lot of coffee, but even one a day adds up over time, and so I'm bringing cans of coffee over here and disposing of them. I tried in my compost bin and it just got to be too much for the small compost bin that I have at home, and you can only put so much coffee in. And then the third thing is the straw and chicken poop from the chicken coop at home. You go in and you clean out your chicken coop, scrape up all their poop along with the straw that's in there, and I bring that over here and I'll lay out fresh stuff for the chickens at home. These three things I think are going to complement one another over here in the garden, because the wood ash is going to make your soil more alkaline, and the chicken poop I think would make it more acidic. The coffee grinds initially I thought would make your soil more acidic. When you actually pour your water over your coffee, however you make it, most of that acid comes out in your glass of coffee. What's left over is not overly acidic. Now we're going to start with the wood ash today, because often when I bring it down here it's still in my bucket, and you don't know sometimes if there's still a little bit of hot ash left. And so we throw that down on the snow first, and that way if there's any embers in there that are still hot from my fireplace whenever I scooped it the last time, the snow will put that out immediately, and then we can go on to putting the straw on and not risk it catching fire. Okay, so on the scale of NPK, that's nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium, wood ash comes in around 0 nitrogen, 1 phosphorus, and 3 potassium, or potash. Those words are related in the English language. So this here stuff, potash, tends to make your fruits larger, and there's also a lot of trace minerals in wood ash, and there's also chunks of carbon that help microorganisms in the soil. Over here we've already been doing soil amendments on this half of the greenhouse where our posts line up, but over here we haven't done anything on this half, and our greenhouse is going to come down in the back at an angle and out here several feet. And so this spring, when the frost leaves the ground, I'm going to come in here and till this area, and that's to break up all the heavy sod that's on the top here still, and the roots from trees and shrubs around. We're going to get all of that broken up and tilled, and everything that we're leaving here today is also going to get tilled into this soil. And then it's going to break down over this season, and in another year for sure, all the nitrogen that we put into this soil will be available to our plants. You're gonna have to move there, Loco. Now, because the ash makes a dark surface over the snow here, it actually helps the snow to melt. Anything that's dark is going to hold heat, and so it should open up my ground down here that much sooner this spring for me to be able to come down and continue doing work, tilling the soil. Okay, move, buddy. You gotta move. There you go. Okay, next comes our coffee grinds. Coffee has an NPK of 2.1, 0.3, and 0.3, so it's high in nitrogen. It also has trace elements, minerals that are going to help the soil. Now, even your used coffee grinds do still contain caffeine. Caffeine is known to kill weeds as well as whatever you're trying to grow, and can also be harmful to worms. Neither of those two things are typically helpful in the garden, but in this section again, we still have weeds underneath the snow here that need to be tilled up in the spring, And so if this helps to suppress weed growth at all, along with the straw that we're going to try to cover this area in to suppress any weed growth, then that is still a benefit to us. Okay, so lastly, we're going to put on our old chicken straw. Now, this is straw, not hay, so it shouldn't have all the seeds in it that would maybe germinate and start to take off in my greenhouse here. I'm not sure what the NPK would be on this, but obviously chicken poop is very high in nitrogen. And all of this is good biomatter to break down in the soil. Eventually it'll be tilled in, and then it can break down with everything else in here. But for now, while I'm spreading it over the top, it should help in suppressing weeds this year when the spring comes. And also, I'm thinking that this will help offset the alkalinity of the ashes that we're putting down by putting all of this high nitrogen and acidic poop in the garden. After I break up this ground this spring and till all of this in, that should be the only time I'm hoping that I ever till this soil. After that, I'm going to try to make this into a no-till garden. Initially, when you go and till something up, you're bringing up a lot of the minerals that are held down below in the soil back up to the surface. And it's beneficial for the first few years of growing. But over time, if you keep tilling a field, it tends to degrade the quality of your ground. It disrupts a lot of the microbial life and worms and different things. And so hopefully after this year we won't till this anymore. It also means, though, that I'm going to have to watch the volume of ash, say, that I throw in my greenhouse in future years. We can put a certain amount of this hay down probably every year to top off our soil and let it break down over the winter. But we're going to find, like I say, other uses for this stuff over time once this soil is amended properly. We'll see how this goes in the spring. We'll be back down to film a video when we prep all this ground. Thanks for watching. We crossed 500 subscribers here this past month, for which we're very grateful. Thank you all.